Good evening. My name is Brian Reese. I'm a physician in the Army Reserve and a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. The David Lynch Foundation partners with a number of organizations, including UCLA's Operation Mend, the Jericho Project, and two other organizations which have representatives behind me among the veterans of 4 of our nation's wars who are assembled here. That includes the Wounded Warrior Project and the National Women Veterans Association of America. The David Lynch Foundation's Operation Warrior Wellness is helping veterans and their families overcome the nightmare of post-traumatic stress and live healthy, productive lives. Paul Rieckhoff and Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America have mobilized unprecedented government, corporate, and public support for veterans and their families. Paul was among the first responders at the World Trade Center on September 11th. In February 2002, Paul began infantry officer's basic course at Fort Benning, Georgia. From 2003 to 2004, he served as an Army First Lieutenant and infantry rifle platoon leader in Iraq. Upon his return home, he found conditions for veterans unacceptable and created the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America to improve those conditions. Today, we honor Paul for his incredible work, helping to bring hope to hundreds of thousands of veterans and their families after they leave the battlefield and return home. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder and executive director of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and the recipient of the 2011 Resilient Warrior Award, Paul Rieckhoff.
Thank you very much. I'm really humbled. And I was nervous about following Ellen and Russell Brand, and somebody told me once, it's easier than getting shot at. So try to keep that in mind. And I know the veterans on stage here with me understand what that's all about. And this award is really for all of them, for all the veterans here on stage, for all the veterans and civilians that work in our organization, to our national membership of 125,000 members and growing. This award is for them. And one thing that doesn't happen enough, I think, in cities around this country is recognizing all the veterans. And there are some of them here on stage, but I know they're in the audience as well. So if I could take a minute and ask all the veterans who are here with us tonight, please stand and be recognized. If you've ever worn the uniform, please stand. So I was in Baghdad for about a year, and Baghdad's a lot like Hollywood. It's hot and sunny. Most marriages last less than a year. And everyone wonders what the hell you're doing there. But it was a place where I learned a lot, and I learned how much support was necessary. So I also want to thank David and Emily Lynch for their vision and for their leadership. They've really stepped up here, and they're showing the country the importance and the value of supporting our veterans. Also, Bob Roth, I didn't see him tonight, but he's been so generous to me and everyone else on our team. Also to Heather and Joshua, who came from the Lynch Foundation to teach our staff TM in the last couple of weeks. And especially thanks to that team and to my amazing girlfriend, Lauren, who always stands beside me. Hooking up with us when you do this kind of work is a lot like a deployment. So the families back home, as you've seen, they deserve as much credit as we do. So I'd ask you to please give a round of applause to all the military families. So, Ellen DeGeneres and Russell Brand, Ellen would have done just fine in the military. I think she would have done just fine. Russell, I don't know. Yeah, and Uncle Sam's hiring, so we can hook you up, get you a haircut, and you'll be good to go. But I want to thank Jerry. I just had the pleasure of meeting Jerry this week, and it's a tremendous honor to meet you, brother. And he's 88 years old. Yeah, that man's 88 years old. And when I met him, he was on his way up to the pool to do PT. So, you're a tremendous inspiration, sir, and it's an honor to know you. And David, watching you, man, is just incredible, brother. And your mother is even tougher than you are, and she's incredible as well. But it's folks like Jerry that are part of this greatest generation, the World War II generation, that came home and built this country and took it to another level. But they also built this town. And veterans are kind of like the secret Hollywood fraternity. And just like there were veterans in the audience that you probably didn't know had served, they're throughout Hollywood as well. World War II veterans like Norman Lear, and Korean veterans like Clint Eastwood, and Vietnam veterans like Oliver Stone and Ron Meyer. And there are people that are coming up now that we hope can follow that lead in Hollywood and worldwide. We call them the new greatest generation. And they're off to a pretty good start. You've seen them tonight. You're going to see them in the next couple of months, and they're making great inroads. They were on the cover of Time magazine, and believe it or not, one of them was on the cover of People magazine. One of our brothers just won Dancing with the Stars. I mean, if you haven't seen J.R. Martinez, I think he shows us all what's possible, and that this generation of men and women can do great things. There are 2.3 million men and women who've served overseas since 9/11. But they're less than 0.5% of the American population. When Jerry served, it was 12, 13, 14%. So we're a very small percentage that have been doing so much for so long. And they need your help, especially right now. 40,000 troops are coming home from Iraq in the next month. They need your help. And the folks that are in Afghanistan and around the world are going to be coming home at some point, and they're going to need your help. The fight's not over. And not everyone comes home wounded, but nobody comes home unchanged. And it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter how you feel about the Iraq War. We all have a moral obligation to take care of these folks who served. And thank you. And they're not victims. They're leaders. If you invest in these folks, if you support these folks, they'll save themselves, and they'll save others, and they'll save lives and go on to be incredible teachers and business leaders and politicians. They're so full of potential, but they face tremendous challenges right now. Homelessness. If you live in Los Angeles, you see it every day. Unemployment, which in some states for veterans is right now at 30%. PTSD, we've talked about it, but it impacts hundreds of thousands of veterans and their families coming home. And suicide. We're losing more soldiers to suicide than we are in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's a fact. And it's off everybody's radar. And just last year, we hosted an event here in Los Angeles, and a good friend of mine, Clay Hunt, was there. He was a Marine sniper who served overseas a number of times and was shot through his hand. Was very involved with IAVA, with Team Rubicon, and an incredibly dynamic leader who was struggling with PTSD. And in April of this year, Clay took his own life. And it devastated all of us. But there are a lot of Clays out there, too many Clays out there, that we're losing even after the war is done. And we honor Clay's memory by celebrating his life. That's what he would want. And he would also want us to fight even harder. And we need your help in doing that. It's why I founded IAVA back in 2004. And all the veterans here know that there's an ethos in the military where we take care of our own. And that's what IAVA is all about. Our motto is, we've got your back. And we've been fighting hard, especially in this year. We fought for a new GI Bill. We fought for better mental health care. We fought to finally repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And yeah, you can definitely applaud all of those. And last month, in a year where nobody's getting anything done in Washington, we passed the only jobs bill in Congress. And the challenges are huge, but we're up for it. And organizations like the Lynch Foundation and so many others are stepping up in that critical time when we're coming home and we need that support. The challenges are huge, but we're up for it, and we won't quit, but we need your help. If everybody in this room just donated $50 to IAVA, we can help those 40,000 folks coming home. If you donate to the Lynch Foundation, we can help those folks coming home. And with all the stars in this room tonight, you guys probably have a combined total of about 1 zillion Twitter followers. So if you tell folks about IAVA, tell folks about the Lynch Foundation, we can make a tremendous impact and show every veteran everywhere that we've got their back. So thank you very much. I'm humbled by this award, and thank you to all the veterans especially.
Well, Paul, supporting the mental health needs of veterans has become a driving issue for your organization and ours. It's a challenge as vast as it is urgent. We Marines are a boastful lot. And a story to me told by a Marine friend was, which I love to share. I spoke yesterday at the press conference on it. And when President Obama in 2009 said, "Freedom is not free, but the United States Marine Corps will pay for most of your share." The key word here is most. So that means that indicates there's still room for the rest of us to contribute. You and the Afghanistan Veterans of America have shown America, and more importantly, Congress, what needs to get done. Your priorities are veterans, for your veterans, are mental health, finding veterans jobs, and education. And Operation Warrior Wellness got your back. We look forward to working hand in hand with you in 2012 and beyond. God bless America. God bless our veterans and the families who they leave behind, so we all may sit here and enjoy our freedom. Congratulations again for being our resilient warrior for 2011. God bless.
Good evening. My name is Brian Reese. I'm a physician in the Army Reserve and a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. The David Lynch Foundation partners with a number of organizations, including UCLA's Operation MEND. Afghanistan Veterans of America have mobilized unprecedented government, corporate, and public support for veterans and their families. Paul was among the first responders at the World Trade Center on September 11th. In February 2002, Paul began infantry officers basic course at Fort Benning, Georgia. From 2003 to 2004, he served as an Army First Lieutenant and infantry rifle platoon leader in Iraq. Upon his return home, he found conditions for veterans unacceptable and created the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. The Jericho Project and two other organizations which have representatives behind me among the veterans of 4 of our nation's wars who are assembled here. That includes the Wounded Warrior Project and the National Women Veterans Association of America. The David Lynch Foundation's Operation Warrior Wellness is helping veterans and their families overcome the nightmare of post-traumatic stress and live healthy, productive lives. Paul Rieckhoff and Iraq and Afghanistan